a good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good people of the tube. Hope you're well today, hope you're feeling grand, and all is well in your world. Hello there, everybody. I hope you're feeling good today, and you're not as stressed out as I am. I'm in a very stressful place today, everybody. So, as the title suggests today, everybody, we are looking for the legendary tone that John Frusciante had during the recording of Blood Sugar Sex Magik, so the album tones. Okay, so and this is a video, and this is a tone I've wanted to kind of like hunt for a while now, and so we're finally there. But one thing I will say before we get going on this, and the thing that stressed me out the most about this sound and this album, is that John's tones throughout the album are not consistent at all. So the tone he has for Give It Away is different to Power of Equality, and Power of Equality is different to Apache Rose Peacock, and Apache Rose Peacock is different to I Could Have Lied, and I Could Have Lied. You get the idea. So there's no consistency in tone whatsoever. There's always slight differences, and it's driving me mental, if I'm being perfectly honest. I've been going out of my mind because you dial it in, like for instance, like the Power of Equality tone I had at the beginning of this video. I think it's pretty close. You know, it's an okay approximation. It's not 100%, but it's not gonna be. And that, you know, that's fine, because it's never going to be 100%. You know, that's we all know we can't approximate, you know, tones like that 100%. It's not possible, especially if it's an album tone. It's really difficult to do. So I thought that Power of Equality tone was really close, and I thought, oh, that doesn't sound too far off. It doesn't sound a million miles away. So I was really happy with that. But then I went to record some other stuff, and I recorded Apache Rose Peacock, and all of a sudden I found that tone to be too dark. And I was like, well, okay, so I'll tweak that. And I tweaked the mids. There's a lot of mids kind of like present in John's tone in Blood Sugar Sex Magik. A lot of mid kind of tweaking going on. And then I got that brighter, but then Power of Equality didn't sound right anymore. So the one thing, like I say, that stressed me out the most on this for this video, and for, you know, trying to get this sound mostly, is the fact of it's not consistent. And because it's not consistent, it's really hard to pin it down. It's really difficult to pin it down. So I've done the best I can. I don't feel it's 100%. Like I say, it's never going to be 100%, because, you know, it was a tone of the time. You know what I mean? It was the sound that John had at that point in time, the amps he was using, the cabs he was using, which we never see, and, you know, and whatnot, and you know, all that kind of thing, and, you know, whatever amps he was using at that time. Luckily, we know what kind of pedals he used, and I'm lucky to have most of them here today, which I'm very, very grateful for. And I'll talk about one specific pedal, which I'm extremely grateful for, in a minute. But, so yeah, let's delve into it. John's tone, like I say, is fairly clean throughout. You know, the album, it's not really distorted. It's a lot different tone to Mother's Milk and Californication, State of My Kingdom, and by the way, it's a lot different. It's a lot cleaner. And I think the most important pedal to get John's tone for Blood Sugar Sex Magik is this one. Let me show you that. Turn the screen, turn the camera. A compressor pedal, everybody. I feel this. John had I think John's was an MXR. I'm using my favourite compressor pedal, which is Ed. It's a Marshall compressor pedal, and it's called Edward. And this is my favourite compression pedal, and I love it to bits. And it's going to be on all the time. So everything you hear is going to come from Ed, basically. That's the core tone of this thing. And I think a compressor pedal is the most important pedal for John Frusciante's clean tone during Blood Sugar Sex Magik. It just gives you this pop, you know, this real heavy compression that he used. It just gives you this pop, and I'll talk about that a bit more when I put the camera up there and I can demo it a bit better. So that's kind of a most important pedal in here, I would say, definitely. We've got the Boss DS2 we're running today as well, which again, you know, has been a mainstay of John's forever. You know, I've just got everything maxed out on that. It's just, everything's on 10. I don't know if you can see. Everything's on 10, and it's set to the turbo mode, basically the straight up 12 o'clock mode. And I've also got the Ibanez-Wah in there as well. John didn't really use the Ibanez-Wah a great deal, but it is there, so, you know, and it is a mainstay of John's zone, so I'm using that today as well. And the most awesome pedal here at this point in time, I have to say, is this. The Stereo Chorus DoD FX65. This is apparently the chorus pedal that John used on recording of Blood Sugar Sex Magik. And I've been very kindly given this by a YouTube fan. And I cannot thank you You know who you are, and I can't thank you enough. I really can't. I'm so grateful for this pedal. I love it to bits. It's a gorgeous chorus pedal. You heard it at the beginning in the Power of Equality thing, and you'll hear it again in a bit with Salter Squeeze and Apache Rose Peacock and stuff like that. And it's just a gorgeous chorus pedal. I can see why John liked it and why he used it for that sound. It's just got the right sound to me, I think, and it's just amazing. I love it. So I'm so grateful. I cannot thank you enough for the gift for the gift of this. It's just unreal. I love it to bits. I've used it so much, and I will keep using it so much. Okay, so that's the 4 pedals. I'm using my Marshall MG today on the Dirty channel, but set super clean. The Dirty channel is set super clean. So it comes out of Marshall, into the DOD, into the compressor, into the Ibanez wah, into a turbo distortion, and then to my white Strat. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk a bit more about some John tones and the compressor pedal. Okie dokie, so first things first, let's talk about what I think is the most important pedal when it comes down to the Blood Sugar Sex Magik tone. Like I said, it's the compressor. Because it just gives you this pop, you know. It just makes the guitar respond like John's does at that period of time, especially in something like Under the Bridge. You know, it's like, especially on those low notes. You know, you can really hear it just makes it pop, and it's just mega important. Like I say, the compressor is going to be on for the whole video. This is what the Marshalls set up like just on its own. You know, it's clean, it's very quiet, but if I add the compressor in, all of a sudden it just becomes more alive. You know, it's all of a sudden it's just got more life to it. You know, so that's the compressor, and I've basically got it set with max compression, so it's totally squished. You know, it's really squished up. And I've also the compressor pedal has got 4 dials. It's called an emphasis dial, so you can choose to kind of like choose what frequencies you want to kind of emphasize. So if you want to squish the low end, you can. If you want to squish the high end, you can. If you want to just kind of squish everything in neutral, you just put it at 12 o'clock, which is where I've got it right now. So the emphasis dial is just compressing everything. You know, it's after all the frequencies it wants to squish. I've got the volume set at 12 o'clock. Anything above that, it starts to break the amp up. It's not so clean. Then it's got an attack dial, and I've got the attack all the way down. So basically what that means is, if I hit a chord, it immediately jumps on it, but then slowly releases the frequencies. So if I hit a chord, you'll hear it immediately squish, and as the chord rings out, the low end will increase and it'll become more open. So if I do that, so squished, low end's increasing. So you can, hopefully be able to hear that. It just increases. Then I've got, like I said, I've got compression full up. Okay, so that's how the compressor's set. It just gives you that kind of pop. You know. Then I've got the DS2 set maxed out. That's just, you know, just quickly. You know, it just sounds like that. And then the Ibanez wah. Funnily enough, the Ibanez wah isn't very powerful with a compressor. It's, you know, it's very strange. It doesn't really behave in the way I like it to behave. You know, it's probably a reason why John maybe didn't use the Ibanez wah so much during Blood Sugar Sex Magik, is for that reason. It behaves in a bit of a strange manner. You know, it's not usual, so to say. And then you get the chorus, which is just heavenly. And I think that sounds really close. I feel that sounds really close to that. So anyway, that's the 4 pedals. Like I said, just recap. So it goes from a Marshall into the chorus, into the compressor, into the Ibanez wah, to the DS2, and enter my guitar. And I've just got them set up in, you know, in a way that sounds right to me. The DOD is set with the speed all the way down, the pre-delay, the delay time all the way up, and the depth all the way up. It just seems to have the right kind of chorusy kind of sound. And that's it. So what I want to do now is turn the room mics off and just let you hear it with the SM57 on the cab. So closer mic, like, you know, like it would be, like it's recorded. And I'll just play a bunch of songs in the best way I can. It might be a bit rough on a few of them because I haven't played some of them in absolutely ages. But I thought if I play a couple of them, hopefully you can hear how close I feel I got. Again, I don't feel it's 100%. I don't think I'm even at like at 80% with it, but I feel it's quite close. It's a really hard tone to nail down. And I also want to talk about something too at the end of the video. But for now, let's make some noise. Okie dokie, so there's some little sound examples of what I've got at this point in time. Like I said, I'm not sold on it at all, but I'm a bit... You need to take a break every now and again. It's really important to take a break, especially when you start getting stressed out. It's not good because you ain't going to be able to achieve anything. So that's where I'm at this point in time. I will do a follow-up on the video. I think I'm going to call this video part 1 because it's getting there, but it's not there. I don't feel like it's as close as I can get yet. There's still something missing, and I don't know quite what it is. But yeah, people of the tube, let me know. What do you think? How close do you think that sounds to kind of some of John's tones from Blood Sugar Magic? Because like I say, they're not consistent. The tones are not consistent. They vary throughout the entire album. And again, that's kind of like the problem with that album is there's so many different sounds on there. It's really hard to nail it down to go, that's the one, so to say. But I feel it's kind of close, especially the Soul to Squeeze one. That, you know, there's something in that sounds right to me. I don't know. What do you think, people of Jew? Let me know. One other thing I really wanted to quickly talk about is John's amps that he used during Blood Sugar Magic, because I'm not 100% sure what he's actually using and what he isn't using, and when he's using it and when he isn't using it. Because in the Funky Monks DVD, you can see a JSM 800 and a Marshall Plexi. And I don't know if a Plexi is a super bass or a super lead. So we don't know that. And that is important, because super basses do sound different to super leads. Especially when they're clean. When they're run clean, they sound totally, well, not totally different, but they do sound different. And when was he using the 800? Was he using the 800 over the Plexi? Was he using both of them in stereo? It sounds to me like he's not running in stereo. It sounds to me like it's a mono signal. But again, I don't know. We'll never know 100% sure. So there's that. And there's also, apparently, he used a Fender amp, a Fender Twin, to record Soul to Squeeze and some other guitar parts. Again, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But some of the guitar tones on there do sound a bit more Fender-y than Marshall-y. That's not even a word. But hopefully you know what I mean. Like, some of the sounds are a little bit different to that kind of like, that kind of classic Marshall tone that John's got. So, who's to say? One thing I will mention though is Under the Bridge has been the biggest focus, well, not one of the biggest focus songs for me when trying to get this sound. And what I can hear in Under the Bridge is there's at least 3 guitars. In the outro, there's about 5. as soon as John kicks on the chorus and to that bit, there's a acoustic guitar, there's his electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, and a guitar doing lead parts. So 3, basically. So not 5 at all, is it, Dave? You can't even count, boy! But yeah, you know what I mean. Hopefully. I don't know. But yeah, there's 3 guitars. There's a chorus guitar, there's an acoustic guitar, and then there's a guitar doing like a little lead guitar solo. Just very subtle in the back. But it's there. And that's interesting. But the verses are even more interesting because it sounds to me, and this is going to sound really, really weird, but when John does these bits, there's the overdubbed notes. So you hear a guitar doing this note. You know, doing those notes. He's just overdubbed them. And that's 2 guitars. But when John comes into a verse, on the left speaker, there's the intro guitar. The main intro guitar doing that part is on the left speaker. On the right speaker is a totally different guitar sound. It's brighter and it sounds thinner. And I think the left is a Marshall and the right is a Fender. But I think what's happening, because they're so perfectly matched, when John does a twiddle on one amp, the amp twiddles on the other, I think it's a stereo setup. So I think when John starts the verse, the Fender and the Marshall are running in stereo. And they're kind of hard panned, so to say. So the Marshall is panned to the left and the Fender's panned to the right. And it gives you this totally unique sound. So that's what I think is going on in Under the Bridge. There's 2 guitars. It's not just one guitar, it's 2 guitars. And I don't know if he's using his Jaguar or his Strat. But there is 2 different guitar tones going on in 2 different speakers. So I think it's a Marshall on the left and a Fender in the right. Because the one on the right sounds really bright. And it really complements the left guitar, which is a lot darker. And also, when it gets to the bit where it goes, does that chord, I think there's an overdub there of a Les Paul, because John did have a Les Paul during the recording pre, and I think at that point there's a overdub of him hitting one chord on a Les Paul, hitting that chord, because it sounds like a humbucker. It doesn't sound like a single coil to me, and it doesn't sound like a Jaguar. It sounds like a humbucker. So I think what's going on is in the intro, there's just a Marshall on the left side. When it comes into a verse, there's a Marshall and a Fender, hard panned left and right. And then when it comes to that chord, you still get the hard panned Fender and Marshall and Fender, but you get down the middle a clunkier, more heavy, darker tone from a Les Paul coming down the middle. I think that's what's going on there. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it sounds like to me. But yeah, we'll never know 100% for sure what's going on. But anyway, I think I've waffled on enough. I could talk about this all day, but I'm not going to, because this video will be like 1,000,000 hours long, and that's not cool. So this is part 1 of this hunt for this elusive tone. It stressed me out immensely trying to get it, simply because the tones are not consistent. They're all different. There's always slight changes in the EQ. And it's just really frustrating. So, just to recap, well, I haven't actually told you this yet, but just to recap, I'm going into the Marshall MG's overdrive channel. I've got the overdrive channel set up like this. I've got the gain at 1, so really clean. Bass, middle, treble, and contour are all at 0, so they're all turned all the way down, and I've got volume all the way up. I've got reverb at 1, which is just basically nothing. And I've got the volume quite high, actually. It's on about 3 or 4, because the amp's really quiet today. And then that's how I've got the Marshall set up. And then it goes into the chorus pedal, compressor pedal, wah-wah pedal, DS2 into my guitar. And that's what I've got. So yeah, so that's where I am at this point in time. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. Let me know how close you think you got. I got, sorry. I don't think it's 100% yet. It'll never will be 100%, but I would like to get it to at least 80%. At this point in time, I feel like it's like around 60, 65, and that's pushing it. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And yes, I will see you again for Q&A Wednesday, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I cannot say thank you enough to the YouTube fan Jody, who giving me the DoD stereo chorus. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. It's lovely. It's going to get so much use. I'm in love with that pedal. It's so cool. And it just sounds gorgeous, especially for soul to squeeze. Anyway, enough on that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. Goodbye now. Just one more time.